Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Hold up, have you registered for my new free training yet? It's called Get 3 Months Ahead on Bills with Fluctuating Income so you can do your art stress-free. The anti-budget money strategy for creatives, and it's happening on June 1st. I am going to walk you through why budgeting ruined my mental health and my artistic work as a creative. I'm going to teach you the 4-step process in the anti-budget money strategy. And I'm going to talk about how to get 3 months ahead on bills with fluctuating income and why this is the most important first step. And right after the training on June 1st, doors are going to open to my brand new group program, Cashed Up Creatives, which is the financial education your BFA never gave you. And it's helping creatives hit their money goals without budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks. Now, you want to be registered for the training because only people registered for the training will get access to a free bonus when you join Cashed Up Creatives in the first 48 hours. You're going to get a free 30-minute one-on-one money strategy call with me to map out your personalized money flow method that's going to help you get 3 months ahead on bills no matter what your financial situation is. So make sure you're registered. Link is in the show notes and I will see you there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Autonomy. Autonomy is the theme of today's episode. I want to talk about how to create full financial autonomy and how you can do this in 30 days. And financial autonomy equals artistic autonomy. So if you're a creative, when you have autonomy in your finances, you have autonomy in your art. You get to choose what you want to make, when you want to make it, why you want to make it. That all of those decisions are up to you. So let's talk about autonomy for a second. Autonomy is a really big word, right? Like it encompasses a lot of energy. And I pulled up the definition because I wanted to be so clear on what we're talking about here. Autonomy is the right or condition of self-government. It is self-government. That's what autonomy is. So when you have autonomy, you are in full control. You make decisions. And so financial autonomy means you are in full control of your money. You make your own money decisions. You feel confident in why you're making money decisions. You don't have to ask anyone else for money advice or listen to other people's opinions of what you're choosing to do with your money. Self-government. Okay, self-government. Now, the other definition of autonomy, which I think is very interesting, is it's the capacity of an agent to act in accordance with objective morality rather than under the influence of desires. The capacity of an agent to act in accordance with objective morality rather than under the influence of desires. Okay, so let's sit with that definition for a second. When you're thinking about autonomy then, it's about having all of the information available to you, knowing what's in the best interest, right? And making those decisions versus your whims, right? Or being influenced by someone else's desires, okay? So when you have financial autonomy, that means that you are getting to make decisions that feel really good for you and are not being influenced by outside opinions or your own whims, right? Your own inner toddler temper tantrums, right? Autonomy means you are easily able to make decisions objectively with neutrality. Financial neutrality is so important, right? That you might be having a lot of feelings about your numbers and your finances, but at the end of the day, you know how to neutralize those feelings to make the financial decisions that are in your best interest. Now, that doesn't mean we're suffocating desire and not listening to desire and always doing the responsible thing, but it's about you getting to decide, self-government, you getting to decide what's important for you and what's important for your money. And based on then those morals and those decisions, you can objectively act on them without like whims or outside influences making those decisions for you or swaying you. That's what autonomy is. So when we think about that, and there's layers to autonomy as well. So like that's immediate autonomy that you can create in 30 days. That kind of autonomy you can create immediately. This is what I'm helping all of my clients do inside of my new group program, Cashed Up Creatives. The first section of the program, we are creating a system and also a mindset around your money to have full self-government. You're going to have a system set up that feels really good to you. You're going to be clear on your desires, and then everything is going to be in your name, right? Everything's going to be an intentional decision of how you want it to look. That is self-government. You are going to have that in the first 30 days. Now, then there are layers to financial autonomy, where like another layer is you are able to quit your job, right? Like if you have a 9 to 5 and you want to quit that 9 to 5 and do your art full time. Another layer of financial autonomy is you have 6 months or a full year of your baseline living expenses, right? You're a year ahead on bills. You built that up into your buffer fund, your on deck fund, and you are able to quit your job because your finances have given you the autonomy to not have to work for this other person because you don't need that income. Right? Another layer of autonomy is when you have other sources of income that are supporting you in addition to your, let's say, your acting career. That means that you could say no to a contract or not even audition for a gig that has you like as a woman flouncing around in your underwear, like kind of a old-timey farce where you're just running around in your underwear playing the floozy girl. Like if that doesn't feel good to you, you don't have to do it because you have your finances in order. Whether you have income coming from somewhere else or you have your bank account stacked, right? You're 3 months ahead on bills. You don't need to worry about getting that gig because you don't need it, right? That's another layer of autonomy. And then an even further layer of autonomy is you have the money, you are cashed up enough that you can fund your own art or your own projects, which is a whole other layer of autonomy. Not only are you able to say yes or no to things that are coming your way or that are available to you, but you now get to create what you want to create regardless of what's in the market, what the regional theater market is willing to see, or like what would fill ticket, like have ticket sales, you know, whatever it is, you get to choose what you want to create. So you can fund your own art, your own creativity. And if you're not an artist, you can also fund your own projects, like start a freaking nonprofit, right? You can do those things. That's another layer of autonomy. And then another layer of financial autonomy. And this is how, this is also, all of this is tying into why financial autonomy equals artistic autonomy. But then another layer of financial autonomy, like the ultimate autonomy, is when you are officially work optional. When you have enough money invested and in your bank accounts that you don't need to accept income from anyone else for the rest of your lifetime, and you can live the luxurious lifestyle you desire because your money, your investments are paying for your lifestyle. That is the ultimate level of autonomy because there is not a single other person in your life at that point, not another single person, organization, job, employer, director, whatever, who has any tie to you if you don't want them to. Because what's happening at that point is your money is paying you to live, right? It's your money. You are in control of your money, and your money is paying you to live. There's a whole training module inside of the Finances 101 module of Cashed Up Creatives talking about investing retirement accounts in the stock market and what that actually looks like how to actually do that simply without being like a finance bro with a finance degree. Like that's accessible to you. But that final level of autonomy means you can do what you want, when you want, why you want. You don't even have to think about the income. You can create what you want. You can go where you want. That is the ultimate level of autonomy, okay? And that ultimate level of financial autonomy gives you that ultimate level of artistic autonomy. Because at that point, you only have to create the art you want to create. You don't have to create any art you don't want to create. You don't have to do any kind of artistic endeavor that does not fuel your soul because you got fuck you money. You got money paying you, right? Like you have ties to no one. Okay. So I wanted to articulate all of that there are so many levels of financial autonomy. And one of my biggest missions with Not Starving Artists and what I'm doing here as a money coach is I want as many creatives to experience autonomy as possible, full financial autonomy and full artistic autonomy. And what's so great about autonomy is that you don't have to wait until your investment accounts are stacked and paying you a full-time income. You can start experiencing financial autonomy in the next 30 days, okay? So we're going to come back to the very first layer of financial autonomy, which is that idea of self-government. Now, self-government means that every single thing that is a part of your financial life is chosen by you. And it is intentionally chosen by you. And you understand every single thing that's going on. You have an education, you have confidence, and you don't need to ask anyone else's opinion because you are unsure if what you're deciding is okay or responsible or right. You know that in your own self. Because one, you have the education. Two, you have the belief and the mindset of I'm a financial CEO and I know best with my money. And then three, you have the tactical system set up to give you that, right? Like your bank accounts are telling you the full story of your money. There's no lingering money out in the ether, right? That you don't really understand or know about. There are no more questions inside of your financial life. You can have financial autonomy in 30 days. And how this level of financial autonomy equals artistic autonomy is that when you know this, when you know your numbers so clearly, when you have a system set up that can handle fluctuating income, when you can hit your money goals without budgeting or biweekly paychecks, when you understand how to do all of that, what it does is it makes it clear what your next step is to that next level of autonomy, right? So do you need to make more? And how much more do you want to make? Like, what is that next lifestyle level, or what's that next level in your bank accounts that you want to hit to give you even more autonomy? Your bank accounts are going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Or is it not necessarily a spending issue, but a current money management leak issue? Is there more going out than is coming in on average? Like, yes, fluctuation happens, but on average, inside of Cashed Up Creatives, when we talk about the anti-budget money strategy, one of the things that we're doing, one of the frameworks I teach is called Know Your BFF. And that's your baseline, your firm, and your flex. This is the basis of how we do all of the calculations inside of your accounts. And with this framework, you know exactly how much it costs to live as you month to month to month. And we do an exercise where we look at your fluctuating income and we look at your lowest month, your highest month, and then what that averages out over a quarter, over a year. And we're seeing if what's going out is higher than what's coming in, okay? And if we see that, then it's like, okay, you might not necessarily have a spending problem, but maybe there's some spending that's happening that doesn't feel really great. Or like when you look through your spending, what feels like, what can you not remember? Like if you're like a bunch of $30 charges and I don't even remember what that is. What was that meal? What was that thing? Those are some money leaks, right? Or is there stuff that just needs to fall away, or stuff that you're not allowing yourself to spend money on that's then resulting in you spending more money than you actually would have if you just let yourself have the thing that you actually wanted, right? We'll see if there are leaks there. Or maybe there are some like subscriptions you're paying for that you don't need to be paying for. Or maybe there's just confusion because you've got Venmo money hanging out that you're like, okay, well, people are paying me back, but like I don't see it in my checking account, so I don't really know if I actually have it. We're clearing up all that confusion so you actually know your numbers for real. So we can see, is it an income problem? Is it a spending problem? Is it just an organizational issue? Is it just you don't know how much you have to spend, right? Like we can get so clear on all of that. That's part of the anti-budget money strategy. And how this results in artistic autonomy right now, I'm going to use one of my past clients, Lauren, as an example. She was laid off from her survival job at REI. And what happened when she was laid off is she was able to decide to go into full-time freelancing as a singer because she understood her numbers and she was 3 months ahead on bills. So she was able to decide that her artistry was going to be her full-time gig moving forward because she knew her numbers and she was 3 months ahead on bills. There was another piece here of artistic autonomy where she decided to volunteer some of her time to an old conductor to help out with some things because she knew she could afford to volunteer that time. Do you see how artistic autonomy, her financial autonomy, gave her artistic autonomy to say yes to something like that? And she wasn't saying yes out of like guilt or people pleasing. She actually felt weird saying I can offer my time, right? Because she was like, so used to not being financially autonomous, right? Not being able to offer time like that. And so that was what she was able to do. That's what her financial autonomy gave her. Even at that level, like she's not a multi-millionaire yet, retired and work optional life, right? But even at this level, she had that kind of artistic autonomy. Now, this is what having that system and that strategy of full awareness is going to give you, that full self-government. This is what that's going to give you. I want to share another example of one of my clients, Margaret. She actually didn't change pretty much anything about her income. I think she had come to me when she had just gotten an increase, like she had just had her highest year yet. She works in sales, so she gets her base pay and then she gets commission. And what we ended up doing is we gave her self-government and financial autonomy over everything in her ecosystem. So when I talk about a financial ecosystem, I want you to think about a rainforest in a textbook in your science class, right? The rainforest ecosystem of like what eats what. You've got all these different things and all the arrows that are connecting to each other. You have a financial ecosystem. How many bank accounts you have open? Where's your money? What gets paid out of where? What funnels into where? How do you spend? What's just floating in the ether that you don't remember, right? Like that's what a financial ecosystem is. Now, we mapped out her financial ecosystem and realized that there was a lot of things that weren't her intentional choice. So one of the things that happened was she had a bunch of old 401ks from old jobs. So part of her self-government, part of her autonomy was I want to have my hands on all those 401ks and I want them all in one place and I want to understand them and how much money I have. Okay. So we took all of those IRAs and we rolled them over into her rollover IRA. And what happened when we did that was she was able to see all of her money together. And then we actually ran it through a compound interest calculator. And we were like, look at you. You are literally set up for retirement. If you didn't input another dollar into this retirement account, you've got a couple million waiting for you when you are retired. Okay. So doing that gave her not only autonomy, right? Over like her actual understanding of her numbers and what her investments were, but she realized she actually had already given herself financial autonomy in retirement. She didn't even realize that, right? It was the system that she set up, and when we cleaned up her organization, that she actually realized she had already given herself financial autonomy in retirement. Another thing we did, she was currently banking at an old bank account that she had shared with her previous husband. And so part of what we did was we moved her bank accounts to a totally new bank so she could cut those emotional ties. She didn't need her nervous system remembering that every time she looked at her money. She wanted all things completely hers. She wanted full autonomy over where she chose to bank, not just where she had been banking, right? Even though it was fine, she was like, I want self-government, right? So we moved her into a totally new bank account. And now she gets excited when she opens up her bank rather than having this weird holdover emotion from something in her past. So that's something we did. The other thing we did was she had this like teeny little money leak where she had an Apple card that earned cash back and would go into like an Apple checking account, right? This like little, she called it her iced coffee money, right? So whenever she wanted an iced coffee, she would just use that little cash back money that would come from her Apple card. And so what we did there was that was functioning for her as something that she didn't really have to think about. Like she felt a little bit guilty about spending that kind of money on herself, even if it was just for iced coffee. So she was like, okay, so this cash back money isn't really real. So it feels okay for me to spend it on myself. What we did with that piece of her system, it was like, okay, so actually we're shifting this a little bit. We are going to use that cash back money as your joy purchase spending. That account better be zeroed out at the end of every single month. During your financial CEO party, you better spend all of that money on yourself. Because one of the things she was working on is letting herself enjoy her money in that way, right? Letting herself spend on things that just were for the purpose of her getting joy from it, okay? So because she was set up, we did all of her other numbers. Like this cash back money was like pennies compared to the other stuff she had going on, and all of her other goals were being hit. So instead of like changing the system, we just changed the intention behind this specific pocket of money. And it was for her to spend to bring her joy. So instead of just like letting that money sort of disappear whenever she wanted iced coffee and not really being intentional about it, she chose that this is going to be my joy money. And I said to her, I was like, your homework, every single month, you're going to drain that account and you're going to spend it on shit that makes you happy. Now, again, it's not a ton of money, but that was her homework. And so just shifting that intention gave her more autonomy in that piece of her ecosystem, where it wasn't just like secret money that maybe I'll use, sort of like it's kind of there. It's like, no, I made a choice around this money and I like it. And I said yes to it and I signed off on it. That's self-government. That is autonomy. Now, again, I'm hammering this home as you can have this in 30 days, because financial autonomy, financial freedom, it's not as far away as it may seem. Organizing your money and understanding your numbers is its own version of financial autonomy, because you're going to understand everything. And then you're going to be able to make decisions about where you want to go, rather than feeling like your money is controlling you, or just deferring to your dad or your uncle or your mom whenever you have some sort of big financial decision, or like, oh no, I don't know how to do my taxes. Like, no, none of that. You're going to be like, I know how to do this, and I'm going to give myself the education. Education in and of itself, financial education in and of itself, is a form of autonomy. Because when you understand how banks work, how credit cards work, how interest rates work, how the stock market works, how investing works, how retirement works, how all of that works, you can make informed, educated decisions about how you want to move forward with your money, even if it goes against the status quo, even if it goes against what your dad would have done, right? No matter what, you get to feel confident because you have the education. You don't have any education holes, right? You can make confident decisions because there's nothing you don't know. And if you don't know something, you actually know what you don't know, right? A lot of times it's like, I don't know what I don't know when it comes to money. Like, teach me money. What do I do about money? But with financial education, when you get your foundation, when you get your base, you're able to ask much more specific questions about the things you don't know, right? So then you can learn them and figure them out, okay? So the education piece and then the systems piece, that's going to give you autonomy. And then, of course, there's a mindset piece here too, where you have to have the mindset of, I'm a CEO and I know best. I'm a financial CEO and I know best because I have my education and I have my systems. You have to cultivate that financial badassery that maybe you haven't fully leaned into, because let me talk about financial infantilization for a minute. This started with the millennial generation. Now, I myself am a millennial. Financial infantilization means that you or other people around you have treated you like an infant, like you don't know what you're doing when it comes to money. Now, people externally, older generations, saw millennials that way, and then we took that identity and like reclaimed it because it was a coping mechanism, right? So like, haha, how do I adult? Haha, we're broke. The economy's fucked. Like, we're gonna live with our parents forever. Like, we make jokes about it, right? Of course, like, we're on TikTok, we're all laughing about it. But what has happened is we have claimed that accidentally as our identity. And so we've created that mindset where we actually don't believe that you could be not a financial infant, that adulting actually isn't hard, that you can be a financial badass without having to be like a spreadsheet dude, right? Financial infantilization was handed to us, right? Of like, you guys don't know how to spend your money well, and you don't know, you gotta spend less than you make and save more. We were given that, right? And then we took it and we made it something funny, and that we reclaimed. And what that did was it hurt something in your mindset, right? Of not feeling like, I'm a goddamn adult with my money. You are a goddamn adult with your money. You are so smart and you are so capable. And the fact that you don't believe that about your money life, we gotta fix that. That's why the very first module inside of Cashed Up Creatives is about your mental space. It's about creating your cashed up manifesto, the identity of someone who is a financial badass, who is a financial CEO, because we got to start reworking that ASAP, because you are capable and you are worthy and you are smart enough. You as you are, your brain, I'm going to start ranting now. Go listen to my You Don't Have to Be Type A to Be Good at Money episode if you haven't listened to that one. It's a couple episodes back. It's one of the lessons of being a cashed up creative. Your brain, exactly as it is worthy and it's capable and it's smart enough. You can do this. But you have to start telling yourself, I can do this. I can have financial autonomy. I can create these systems. I might need help and I might need to learn, but you are capable. Okay, financial autonomy is available to you now. It's available to you now. You can start feeling better about your money without making more. You can start feeling better about your money without spending less. You can start feeling better about your money right now, right? Even if you don't do anything else, but you just start looking at your numbers. If you know what's going in and what's coming out, boom. There's a level of financial autonomy. Then you add your cash flow system, your money management system that lets you hit your goals without budgeting, your cash flow, add that on top of it, boom, another level of autonomy. Okay? You start getting clear on the next lifestyle goal you want to hit, boom, another level of autonomy. So many things that are accessible to you right now. They are so close. They are as close as your next breath. And that is so much of what I am teaching you inside of Cashed Up Creatives. How to start making those shifts now, right? You don't have to wait. You don't have to invest millions of dollars to get it. You can do it right now. As a creative, as someone with an artistic brain, as someone who's in a 9-to-5 but just doesn't want to budget, this is for you too. Okay, I will see you next week for lesson number 5 of being a cashed up creative. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.